I have to enter the portal to save my career because even though I was able to win the Heisman as a sophomore, there was no hope of a national championship. I thought I could get West Virginia there by myself, but that just wasn't the case, unfortunately. So I'll be transferring for my final year of college before declaring for the NFL draft early. Now, you would think every school in the nation would want a running back that just won the Heisman, rushing for 2,454 yards, 34 touchdowns. But that's actually not the case at all. Programs like Alabama would have us on the bench. Penn State would actually only let us walk onto their team, but that doesn't matter. We don't want to go there anyway. Our top 3 schools are Texas, Florida State, and Oregon. Those are 3 teams I know will walk in day one, and we're guaranteed to be the starter no matter what. And the reason I'm so sold on Texas is they're high for NIL opportunities, plus they just have a very good team. As for Florida State, they're actually going to be the first team that I eliminate. Their offensive scheme is air raid, so we're not going to get as many carries, which means it all comes down to Oregon versus Texas, and the Ducks were actually my dream school when I started this road to glory with this kid out of Alaska. Just in a quick comparison to Texas again, Oregon is the same NIL opportunities, plus I feel like their schedule will be a little bit easier. And honestly, since their playbook is the pro style one, it's just a perfect fit. That is right, my final season in college is going to be taking place in Eugene. And I gotta say, our defense is looking incredible, but when I look at the offense that we're going to be working with, I'm not very excited for either one of these quarterbacks. In fact, Cole Warner is injured, the starter. It says it's a knee strain and he's only going to be out for 2 weeks, but we don't want to start our career playing with a backup. And I just imagine that Oregon's offensive line was going to be better than the situation we had at West Virginia, but I'd say this is very similar. That's actually had a massive impact on whether or not we're going to win back-to-back Heisman trophies. We're currently not even in the projections. And our conference, the Big Ten, is going to feature 7 teams inside the top 25. Before we hop into our first game, though, of our final season in college, we have 22 skill points to spend, and it almost works out perfectly for us to just try and max out our speed. We're going to get capped at 97 and then spend the other 6 on Shifty, bringing that ability up to gold. I was really hoping that we could get 99 speed, but that's just not going to be the case. We're going to work on our juking abilities, getting better throughout this season. And you saw our first game of the season. It's against an FCS school. Here we are, coming out of the tunnel at Oregon. I feel like this should be a great game to start my career. The crowd looks awesome. We're going to have different jerseys that we can wear for every single matchup. And we also get to go over to the student section and give a little point out to them. Our first snap with the Ducks is actually going to be at receiver. We weren't able to make that catch, but we've not focused on getting better at catching throughout our entire career. And I don't want to be that guy, but we're feeling a little bit slow and chunky until this play where we got 9. By now, we should feel as fast as we possibly can. And so far, I can't say I've been in love with the playbook and the run calls, but we're going to take this to the complete opposite side of the field. And all I can think in my head is surely we don't lose this first game of the season. At West Virginia, there was no guarantees that we'd win every game. It was actually painful, some of the losses that we took. There's a holding penalty on this play, so it won't matter if we get in. But I take that back. It was actually against the FCS school for jumping offside. I really hope that we can win a national championship in this season anyway. That was the one reason we transferred to play for Oregon instead of finishing out our career with the Mountaineers. So that's one of our 2 goals for this video. The other one being winning a second Heisman Trophy. And how we're going to do that is if we're able to break off some big runs, but we're getting stopped on 3rd down. I can't say I've been too impressed so far. The offensive line is not much of an upgrade from what we were working with at West Virginia. And that might seem crazy for me to even say, especially since we've already rushed for 67 yards in the first quarter, but that was on 10 carries. We're averaging 6.7 yards per carry. I think last season we finished with about 10 yards per carry, and you got to think about the quality of opponent that we're facing. The expectations are just a little bit higher. On 3rd down, we're going to make our first catch. Or maybe it was our second. I can't remember if we already caught a halfback screen. We're going to spin around that defender, and this is where we get loose. We are just begging to break off a big run at some point. Cut back. We got to get that juke and fight up. And I actually think we're going to get some really, really good blocks on this play. It's the easiest touchdown of all time. As this game has gone on, I've realized that getting our Heisman campaign going at Oregon is going to be pretty easy, in my opinion. It seems like we might be able to finish this game with 5 or 6 touchdowns, and that's a great start to the year. We're going for Barry Sanders' huge records. As time has gone on in this game, I feel like it's been relatively boring, though we might be able to break off a touchdown run, breaking a tackle, but even then we couldn't finish it off. And honestly, I think all these touches are going to be really bad for our wear and tear later on in the season. We were able to see how that impacted us with West Virginia. There were times where we literally just missed part of a big game. And for every carry that we're taking, that's just going to add on to that toll. So we're going for one more touchdown, even with the hurdle. And after that, we can probably take a break. In fact, we got pulled out from the game by our coach. So I appreciate that. It's not Dan Lanning. He left I'm not sure who it is. I think he came from Boise State. And talk about a pretty solid first game. We had 239 rushing yards on 26 attempts. It is also going to lead to us getting our first proposal for an NIL deal this season. We have 2 slots available, so this would be one of those slots taking away a 12-week contract, but we would get +3 stamina permanently and then 6 skill points at the end. I think it's worth it. It's also nice to see that our introduction to the Big Ten is winning Conference Player of the Week. And I thought that might have put us on the Heisman radar, but not yet. I think it's just going to take a little bit of time. We're actually focusing on our academics and leadership this year. I feel like leadership could be important. It makes your coaches happier with you. Your team plays better. They're more composed. So that's what we're shooting for. We're playing Baylor in our next game. And like I said, the Ducks have a lot of uniforms to choose from. So these are the ones that we're going to be repping in this game. It looks like it wants to downpour in Eugene, but at least for now, there's no rain, just some clouds in the sky. I guess it's looking a little bit better up there the farther that we look. And honestly, with the little gold trim on the jersey around the numbers, these would be the perfect jerseys to wear if we could carry Oregon to their first national championship. How are we getting caught? That's the difference between 97 speed and 99 speed. We needed to get a couple extra speed upgrades, but we just weren't that lucky. So Baylor gonna have a chance to hold us to a field goal, maybe even no field goal at all. It's gonna be 3rd down, and our drag is caught, but he's short. On 4th and 2, I think we're just kicking. At least we have a teammate that can hit those kicks, though. At West Virginia, we were missing so many easy kicks that we should have never missed in the first place. And we're still operating with a backup quarterback as well. He's gonna keep this carry, and it looks like he might be able to turn this into a touchdown if we just make a good block for him. That's a great teammate. I have never had a good block in this series yet. And when it comes to the Heisman voters making their pick, that's not gonna show up on the stat sheet. But that was such a great play. To me, it felt better than any big run that we are able to break off. I am just ecstatic at the fact that we were able to do it. And I'd say we've been pretty efficient on the ground so far as well. We're currently averaging like 15 yards per carry. It's becoming a tradition for us to get like 100 yards on the ground within the first quarter or two. I mean, nobody is going to catch us after a couple of those cuts. And we're turning this one into a blowout faster than we did against an FCS school. I think the most eye-opening part about this game so far is if we were facing Baylor with West Virginia last year, this would have come down to the wire. We would have really struggled to beat the Bears, but when we're with the Ducks, it's just a piece of cake. And it turns out we're being pulled out of the game for 3rd and 10. That resulted in an unsuccessful drive, and Baylor scoring their first points of this game. We're breaking off that tackle, though, still on our feet. But I think we have to address the elephant in the room. This game is not over. We're only up by 10, and we're going to need some good throws from the backup. Now, if we can end this first half with a touchdown drive, I'll feel pretty confident off of this play. Our tight end is just going to get 15. I'm not there to make the block. But the more that we mix in passes every so often, Baylor can't just cheat and stop me on the run. Halfback sweep, getting around 2 defenders there. And we really want to bust it to the outside because that's where the speed can be so overpowered. We wait on our blocker there, but that was a mistake. We got tracked down in the process. We should have just tried to take it into the end zone by ourselves. Looks like we're going to be able to on the next play anyway. And I gotta say, this is the perfect way for our season to open up. Any more than 20 carries in this game, though, is going to be too many for us just due to wear and tear. So I'm actually hoping we don't pick up this 3rd and 8. I feel like we're still in a pretty good position in this matchup, and it looks like it's going to be a touchdown on the other side of the field. From that moment, this game is over. We all know it's over, but we're still out there getting some carries, and that's going to bring us over the total of 20, which means we're going to deal with some wear and tear damage that we're going to have to repair after this game. But in my eyes, if we can get one more touchdown against them, then that's worth it. Currently, we're a yard short of having 200 rushing yards on the ground. We might not even get there if we score a touchdown. Don't do a truck move. No need for that. It slowed us down. It was unintentional, but we're going to get a halfback toss. And I think we're going to be able to finish off this play. I mean, there's just no one out there. This is literally the perfect start to the season. With conference play right around the corner, though, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to keep this up. Our stat line was 211 rushing yards on 25 attempts, 3 tutties. We might be touching the ball a little bit more than I would like, but that's also not something to complain about. At least we're on the field. Our play count is increasing. And since we've already unlocked stuff like audibles, there is literally nothing else for us to earn coach trust for because we have maxed it out. I mean, this coaching staff is about as happy as they could possibly get to have me on the team. But one of our starting offensive linemen, he was out walking his dog and he tripped on a curb. So he isn't going to be able to play against Oregon State. He tweaked his ankle. It means that we probably need to watch film with the backup. I don't mind it, especially since he'll now have +8 awareness for our upcoming game. But it's taken away some of the energy that we would have to spend on other things. We're getting our second NIL deal. We'll get 6 points +3 acceleration permanent up front. Our acceleration's already maxed out, but I want to see if you can go above 99. I guess it might not work that way, but for stamina, we're sitting at 100. It would have been really cool to see 102 acceleration. We're still waiting to save up skill points to upgrade our juke and spin move, where we need about 5 more before that can be possible. We only have 1 energy to spend this week, though, and it's going to have to go towards repairing our body. Now it's time to take on our in-state rivals, Oregon State, for our first road game. They're 0-3. They're having a pretty rough year. And to be fair, we might have contributed a little bit to that. We left them to die off whenever we went and joined the Big Ten. They didn't get a conference invite. They're trying to rebuild the Pac-12. But it's been hard on the Beavers and Washington State, so I'm impressed that their stadium looks the way that it does. Of course, it is a rivalry. I just thought we might have some more Oregon fans in the crowd. All these poor people wearing orange, though, are about to watch a Heisman winner go to work. And Warner is finally out there on the field, our starting quarterback. Not that he's done anything so far besides just hand the football off. He also is one of the quarterbacks that wear gloves. That always drives me insane. He looks more like a receiver than a quarterback, but as long as he has a good grip on the ball, we're going to get some solid handoffs. On 3rd and 4, we got an RPO coming up. I'm hoping that Cure gets open. I mean, he is right there. We just got to make the catch. And I don't think Cole Warner is going to be as inaccurate of a quarterback as what we were working with West Virginia. Now, off of the play action, I didn't think we were getting the football. I figured a wide open tight end would be his first read, but he didn't want to give him the football again. We're just going to cut to the outside and mess it up. I really think our juke move needs to get better sooner rather than later. We just don't feel as elusive as I was hoping that we would. But to be fair, we're also 240 pounds, and we just lost 4 yards. 3rd and 14. I think we were supposed to block there. It was a block and release route. We released immediately. So we got held to a field goal. I can't say that was the most impressive first drive in the world, but all it takes is one big run. If we just bust off a big one, our stats are going to look so much better. We really need the blocks to line up. And that chainsaw keeps on getting loud. It's roaring for Oregon State. That's their tradition on 3rd down. And it's going to work. Fortunately for us, their offense seems to be pretty incompetent. They have not been able to move the ball at all, but I think that's also a testimony to our defense. I said going into the year, it was a very impressive unit. I felt like they would be able to get plenty of defensive stops, helping us win a championship while we score. But here's the problem. We are barely into the 2nd quarter, and we're already down to half of our wear and tear. I'm not sure how much of this game we're going to get to play, which increases the risk of us losing. So we really need to start finishing off some drives. With this carry, we're going to cut it to the outside. I mean, we got the best blocks in the world there. If he could have been picked up, this should have been a touchdown. And I'm going to trust Cole Warner to make the correct pitch and read off of this option. He did on the last play. He's going to do it again. There's some great blocking going on number 2. So we're in. Just like that, though, Beavers are not backing down. They scored a touchdown in like 3 plays on our defense. So much for our defense having a great game. We're just going to have to go off on the ground as we just skirted straight out of there. And if they're going to score fast, I love that we're scoring fast too. We've also gotten it back with 52 seconds left in the first half. Running probably wasn't the best thing that we could have done there. We're just going to sit back and block on this play. I should have been over there. Seems like we're not going to get a field goal out of this drive. We got to be better. Who are we chop blocking? Oh, we're going to help with the center. And that's fine. Our center's looking kind of skinny compared to some of the other guys on the line, so I'm fine with helping the guy that he's blocking, typically nose tackle. That halfback screen, though, did absolutely nothing for us. We're on a block and release. We're going to immediately release to get us in field goal range. And I think that was the smart decision. With all the wear and tear really adding up from that first half, though, we didn't step on the field the entire second half. And as you can see, because of that, our offense just completely shut down. If we're barely beating a team like Oregon State, that worries me quite a bit. Our fraternity has this test bank with old tests from previous years. We're definitely going to use that. I appreciate Lane for reaching out. But maybe I should have learned my lesson earlier on from in college when I got cheating and then it hurt our GPA, because now we're going to have to focus on it. In fact, we are currently ineligible. I didn't even know we could have become ineligible like this. Not good. Not good at all for the Heisman campaign. I hope we're not out for very long. I wasn't even thinking anything of it. We advanced to the next week. Of course, the GPA is not going to change in that short time frame unless we get an opportunity, and I don't think we're getting an opportunity. This is the student newspaper reaching out. We've just received breaking news that you've been demoted and will not be starting moving forward. What's your reaction to this? I guess I should probably just accept responsibility. If we double down, we might not see the field again. But this is absolutely brutal. How are we supposed to win a Heisman if we're not on the field? I don't know what to do. Our coach happiness is just all the way down. I thought we were safe forever. And currently it says we are halfback 5. All I want is somebody to give us a chance to get our grades up. Coaching staff has you suspended this week until you get your grades up. I'll see you in study hall. When can I get the GPA to grow? Hang on. It said mandatory study hall. You spend most of the week there. Your GPA receives a small bump at the expense of your energy, which is fine. And this is what I like to see. We're at a 2.0. We are back onto the field. We only missed 1 week of football, and I guess we can start to focus on our leadership as well. Now, it seems like coach is still extremely angry with me, and it lists us as halfback 2. I don't know when that changes, but we're going to see how much we play against 0-5 Michigan State. I mean, there's a real chance that we just lost our starting job for the rest of the year. And we have not stepped onto the field once in this game. We almost lost to Michigan State. It looks like our first opportunity is literally coming right here on a 3rd and 7. So we probably shouldn't even be running the football. We're just going to call for it quickly in the flat. But how are we going to become the starter again? I can't believe it. Hit me. I was open. I feel like this entire team has just given up. You cheat one time and no one forgives you. Seems like we got our defensive stop. We'll be out there for the knee. But this is not a good look. I don't know how this is going to affect everything that we wanted to achieve. We had no stats. I was really concerned until Spencer Danielson reached out. Our head coach is saying he knows that we're not happy about his decision. You might have an opportunity to get back being a starter, but we have to prove it. And I am so ready for it. I can't be sarcastic. But we're not getting a position battle immediately. My coaches have to be pleased with me for that to happen in the first place. And we have to start by performing well in practice. Typically, practice is something that I just skip over, but we can't do that now. We're going to be going to film study for both weeks. I will do whatever coach wants. And just like that, he becomes a little bit happier with us. Now, I think this type of punishment for a college football player cheating when we're getting paid the types of deals that we are is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in 2025, but it is what we are working with. Haven't seen you much around the complex. Wanted to check up on you. If you guys are having an extra workout, I'll be there as well. I'm just kind of hoping that coach hears about it. It's going to increase my leadership. And with exams coming up in a week, we're actually going to spend our energy just studying, because if we pass with flying colors, I think that would really help. Apparently, we got sent down to halfback 3, though. We're not even halfback 2. What is happening? I'm gonna be honest, this is just ridiculous. West Virginia would have never done this to us. And if we happen to lose a game or two while I have to be sitting on the bench, that could affect our playoff chances. Now, I don't think that's gonna be the case here. Wisconsin kept it within 8 points, but they've been pretty bad recently. And it turns out midterm results are in, all Bs, results were solid, but there's room for improvement. Bs are good. I feel like everyone's just being too harsh on me. Coach is keeping me as halfback 3. He is still angry. And I noticed in this process, we lost one of our NIL deals, which was gonna give us a lot of skill points. I'm starting to think that we might be returning for our senior year as well and transferring elsewhere if we don't get out there soon. I didn't want to win just one Heisman Trophy in college. I wanted to win 2, and I wanted to have a better season than we did the year before so we could start to break some of Barry Sanders' huge records. The worst part is even when it tells me I'm going to get in for a play, coach just makes me watch. And the one time I get out there is for the QB kneel. You know what? This might have been my dream school, but it's making me really angry. This is how he's treating one of the best players on the roster. So I have a new plan, and it's a pretty devious one, but if it's gonna pay off, what we have to do is somehow earn our starting spot back, and then we're gonna ruin Oregon's season. I'm not sure if we're even gonna be able to do that, but it just hit me. One of the things it told me to do was go into practice, and this is how you earn back coach trust. Well, I hadn't been doing that. I had been skipping practice. No wonder coach hasn't been very happy with me, and we've not earned like any coach trust. I mean, this drill just could not be any easier. Now that we've gotten good in our career, I could have probably shut my eyes and still gotten a gold medal. And what did that do to our coach trust? Well, now he's just unhappy. I think if we have another successful week of practice, we're going to start earning position battles. And remember, that is the plan, because I will not stand for how Oregon has treated us. Apparently, they're not going to stand up for themselves in this game either. USC just won 24-0. And that result is going to drop us down to the number 11 team in the country, which is where we started the year at. I still can't believe the position that we're currently in, though. I would have never imagined us getting benched at any point throughout this year, but I guess you got to focus on academics. That is part of being in college. And I gotta say, we are just flying through this drill at the moment. Don't hit us with the ball at the last second. If we can get this final one right perfectly, then we are going to finish with another gold medal, and that's going to help. It's not helping as much as you might think, though. Coach is going to stay unhappy. And I'm going to be honest, it feels like we are never going to get back onto the field for the Ducks. If we lose another game, though, that's almost good news for me, because I don't want the Ducks to have any chance at winning a championship. And it's a little weird to be sitting on the Oregon sideline as a hater now, since this was my favorite school, but this is what they've done to me. To make matters even worse, Spencer says, I'm going to be honest with you, the coaching staff hasn't been particularly enthused with you lately. You don't want to risk sitting on the bench. Don't say I didn't warn you. I've been trying to do everything I can. Nope, it's time to blow it up. I just texted LOL to my coach. I don't think it was received well. And now we have a bad situation pop up. Coaches are unhappy with you. If they now enter a game angry, you'll be benched a quarter. If they finish the week angry, you'll be risk being demoted. I've been demoted already. I simply just don't care anymore. We're going to max out that GPA so I don't have to worry about doing any studying as a senior. And that's all that's going to matter to me as a player. We're going to take our talents elsewhere. I mean, we're now listed as halfback 3. We're not stepping onto the field. I don't think there is any purpose in me even hopping into these games, which is just going to continue to get me demoted. It's fine with me. We barely beat Indiana on the road. We still have to face Illinois and then Washington. But once again, I don't even see a purpose in playing this game. It makes me more mad to sit on the bench the entire time. I'm literally just worried about my academics. And I guess that's what coaches wanted all along, but it's going to cost them a loss to Illinois, who was 4-6. With exams coming up in a week, though, I think my GPA is just going to continue to get better and better. And you know what? I kind of want to see the environment for what this game against Washington would be. They are the number 3 team in the country. It's going to be a sold-out green crowd. But I was hoping it was going to start as a night game, not just finish as one. Washington ended up taking down the Ducks by 3. And I don't think I've ever maxed out this bar before, but I can no longer spend any energy on academics. We have also continued to save up some skill points as a player, which is going to give us 92 juke move. If we can get another 5, we'd be able to upgrade one more time. And it looks like the results are in, all A's, so that's going to bump up our GPA even more. During conference championship week, since Oregon finished at 8-4, which was completely avoidable if they just left me on the field, they're not a part of it. And I guess these are going to be our final stats with the Ducks. Some of the averages in the games that we played are a little skewed because we were out there for like 1 carry, but we were on track to have an even better year than what we did the season before. And it was all for nothing. Washington's quarterback won the Heisman Trophy, so this went about as bad as it could have for Oregon. One of their rivals was having tons of success while they went 8-4. And in the meantime, after we did well on our exams, we just went all in on getting skill points through training extra, which is how we got 10. We're not going to be able to max out our juke move or our spin move. But next year, besides getting platinum shifty, we'll at least be able to get side step up and 360. We're not even going to step onto the field for this game against UCF, so there's no purpose. And it looks like Timothy Rodriguez is coming at the very last second to just give me a chance to double down to insult coach, which I absolutely love. It's true though, he isn't doing what's best for the team. He's trying to make a point, and that's the reason that we're going to transfer away. I had to rage bait coach one more time before we just go ahead and enter the transfer portal. We're not leaving for the NFL. And it's only because we are just doing this to really frustrate him. I already have our exact school in mind as well. We could go to Georgia. It looks like we would still be a walk-on at Ohio State and Clemson. But none of that was the answer. I wanted to go to Washington and then continue to beat Oregon with Washington, except we would be a walk-on there too. Instead, I've decided we're not going to go to Texas either. That was one of the top 3 I was willing to consider. Florida State's continued to fall off. We don't want to play for them. No, we want to play for Michigan. Their offensive line looks like it could be incredible. And I just hope that they actually keep us as the starter once we get there. It'll also give us a chance to potentially get Oregon on our conference schedule. And you know what? I think we're going to be respected here. We got 32,000 coach trust as we step on campus, so we already get everything that we needed benefit-wise. But when you're in college for 3 years and you only worry about your GPA for 1, I was wondering if EA calculated it correctly. They did. We're still going to have to make sure that we study. We can't just avoid it for our senior season. And that's okay with me. We will not be cheating this time around. We're just going to be trying to upgrade ourselves as this year goes on. Opening game against Western Michigan. And we're not going to be a part of the Heisman watch list. I guess everybody has forgotten that we won the Heisman Trophy just a couple years ago. But that's okay. As we look at this schedule, I think our first 3 games should be a breeze. If we struggle in them, then we're going to have some major concerns. But as we get farther into the year, especially when we have to face our biggest rivals, Ohio State, that's where things get tough. I was actually really rooting for Oregon to be on there, but they aren't. And it looks like it is going to be raining in our first game with the Wolverines. This is a new intro for us to get to experience. I mean, the lights in here are about as dim as they could get. But once we step outside into the weather, look at the big house, man. This is such a sick view. I am happy to be wearing maize. I am happy that we have found a new home. This is better than what we had at Oregon. Do we get to run up and slap this as well? I'm pretty sure some of the players do. There we go. Not too short to hit it and head it over to the student section. I know there are students in here that have used student seats. They wanted a safe place to get their student ticket. I can't blame them. First handoff is going to go for 6. And I think Kirk Herbstreit's son is our quarterback, which, however you want to take that, you can. I don't know how to feel about Chase Herbstreit throwing the ball for us, but as long as he doesn't make too many mistakes, it won't be a big issue. He just missed a wide open drag. So that is not what I wanted to see, but as long as he can hit us in the flat. We had a chance to get a huge gain. If we didn't immediately fall over, we also beat the press. It is being reviewed by Western Michigan, though, saying that he didn't get a foot in. And from the looks of it, at this angle, I mean, I think we're safe. That means we're going to be able to continue to get some carries. No reason that I should even still be on my feet. One of the issues with being as fast as we are is we typically do outrun our blockers. We've got to hit these holes better than we currently are. I mean, there's no excuse for that not being a touchdown, but we'll just score on this play anyway. If we could get some more heavy formations like that, we are going to have an incredible season. The halfback screen, using that new juke move, it was a little late. If we want it to be effective, we're going to have to make that decision a little bit sooner. Are you seeing some of the blocks that we are getting? I mean, this is just incredible. We picked a perfect offensive line to run the football behind. Kind of pushed him into us right there, but I cannot complain. I think we're stuck blocking on this next play. And I don't know how long this has been available, but I can call any play that I want. It doesn't have to come from coach suggestions. I know there was a point in this series where I complained that I couldn't pick any play that I wanted. So the fact that that's been there has got me wondering how long it's been there. I hope it's something we just unlocked recently. And that was supposed to be a massive gain for us, but instead we lost 5. On 3rd and 9, we're just going to immediately run out to the flat. Try and run a low angle route. It is a 50-50 ball that is caught. And if we're being real, this has not been the best game for a Heisman campaign, but it does have me feeling pretty confident about Michigan. And there it is. There is the big touchdown run we've been waiting for. 23 has got some speed on him, though. You would not expect that. Then again, I have to look at myself and think the same thing. With our next drive starting on the 1-yard line, this has the potential to go really poorly, but it also had the potential to pay off. And if we could just bust off one more touchdown run, I think that'd be enough of this game for us to still put ourselves in the Heisman conversation, but not take too much wear and tear damage, because we are now going on our 4th season. Another amazing thing I just realized is I can chew clock since I can call these plays, which means once we get up by a lot in some of these games, we can end it. That was the best thing I could have ever realized, especially since this game is over as we head into the 3rd quarter. And I don't know why it feels like we're still slow with 97 speed, but we'll eventually make it. I'm afraid our day is not going to end there, though. Coach still doesn't want to take me out of the game, and that's just an awful read from Herbstreit's son. I don't know what Chase was thinking there, but we're going to have to make a tackle. And let's hope he doesn't do that against better opponents. I mean, the game is over. We should just be ending it here, but they have put us out for yet another drive. And I think since we only have 3 touchdown runs in this game, it makes sense to go for a 4th. We might be running into a stone wall, though. Western Michigan doing a very good job of packing it in. And that means we're going to finish with this type of stat line, winning 35-3. If we keep on playing that well, we're going to earn 2 skill points a week, because that's what we got from that matchup. It's going to give us silver sidestep. And I'm not sure if you'll even be able to really notice the difference against an FCS school, but I'm hoping as we get up to the gold tier, as we get up to the platinum tier, then you will. Well, this is kind of weird, but for whatever reason, we were not on the field for the first drive where we scored 7 points. I couldn't tell you why. I'm trying my hardest to not read much into it. I mean, we had our bad experience whenever we were with the Ducks, and if we continue to show out, there's just going to be no choice but to put us out there on the field. 2 carries, and we're already getting like 75 yards. I actually think we're going to get plenty more of those runs throughout this game. And I wanted to set us up to do the exact same thing that got us a touchdown the last time, just to see if this halfback toss play is really that good. It seems like it is against a school like this. I mean, nobody is close to having the type of speed we do. That Heisman campaign is going to be coming fast. And this game might already be over. We've only had 4 rushes, but we've already been able to go for a ton of yards. We fit through the hole as well. I think we're going to be at 200 yards on 5 rushes. Please just pull us. What this lets me know is our offensive line with the Ducks was clearly not good enough, because you see what great blocking has done. And that is all on the hardest difficulty. You see what a great offensive line should be doing for us. We're just going to explode out of there again, aren't we? I think this halfback toss play might be the one that we go back to whenever we need a huge gain. I can't say the blocks are always going to look that great, but it is now 3 for 3 in terms of success rate. And can we get a 4th? Might even be a 5th touchdown for us. I didn't even mean to call this again. It was just sitting there in suggestions. And you can see the wear and tear, it's adding up. But maybe coach can pull us out at halftime and we won't have to see the field at all in the second half. It'd be preferred. Even though we could be going for a record-breaking game here, we're already at 375 yards. I don't want our wear and tear to go down. We're just going to decline this penalty too, just take our touchdown since they were offside. And like I expected, coach isn't even putting us out there in the third or the fourth quarter because of how much we were already up by. It's exactly what you want to see. You don't want to be out on the field more than you need to be. And that final stat line came out to 380 rushing yards on 12 carries. I don't think it's a surprise that that is going to set the Michigan single game rushing yards record. And clearly we should have just become a Wolverine in the first place. I figured it wouldn't take too long for us to get some Heisman recognition, especially after a game like that one. But if we're going to make it to the playoff, we can only lose potentially up to 2 games this season, and we know that we're going to have some tough ones on the schedule. Before our bye week, we were seen as the 14th best team in the country. Headed into this one against the Owls, we're now number 12. And this is the final easier game that we have before we get to our 9 Big Ten Conference games. Now, I have not seen this play since the beginning of my college career, but it's the speed option, and Chase just didn't pitch it. It's okay, though. Herbstreit is going to carry us to a national championship. Not really carry. He's just going to hand the ball off, and then I'm going to do the work. But in his mind, at least he'll be a part of this team. Halfback stretch to the right side of the field. I felt like it was going to open up so much for us, and there is simply no way that they're even going to get a hand on it. I will say, though, the FAU offense, it's not backing down. They marched down the field. They scored a touchdown themselves to make it 7-all. They're also hitting me in the backfield. So I think it's only fair we respond by testing out quick pitch. Now, they're going to stop it a lot better. That's kind of how I figured it would go. On third down, I was supposed to help block. And we might have ourselves a little bit of a battle here. I don't know how the Owls have managed to do it, but by the time we have the football back, we are losing. And we are going to stay on our feet. Hang on. This might turn into a house call. There is absolutely zero reason that this should be turning into a house call. But that's what happens when you're 240 pounds and hard to bring down. I told you, giving us some extra girth was exactly what we needed to do. I made everything realistic to my size besides that. I am not that girthy in real life. I wish I was. Oh, no. See, here's the problem. There was 100% a hole there, but we just didn't hit it properly. Now on 3rd and 8, we're just going to call for it late. We're going to pick up the first. And we're going to keep this drive alive as we hope to end the first half with a touchdown. I feel like it could come off of this play. I'm giving the pitch another chance. We're just stuck. And on 3rd and 10, we're going to be the outside receiver here. Maybe we run a comeback route, but we're not getting the football. It's dropped. What this game has done so far has made me very aware that a national championship might not come as freely as you would think. And I'm not sure when we're going to get pulled off of the field. Wear and tear is going to be adding up as more of the game goes on. This was the toss. This was the toss play that is going to go the distance. We have found a new one. As I continue to explore this playbook, I'm expecting to see even more of those. And can you believe we still have the ball back again before the end of this first half? We're going to outrun so many blockers, all with the hope of scoring a touchdown here. And it's coming. It's coming. We just got to get around him and stay on our feet. The fact that we're still out there to start the 3rd quarter, though, lets me know that we got to continue to score more points. And as we continue to run down their throats, I have been made extremely aware that this toss play is my new favorite one. I mean, the juke move still needs to be better. I don't know if it's our running style. I don't know if it's the fact that we weigh 240 pounds, but the juke is not as clean as it would be if we were a little bit smaller. I won't lie, it's kind of bugging me. I feel like we could be pulling off bigger runs if we just had a normal juke. The play-action play doesn't work. And this drive might just be finishing with a field goal, which would still put us up by 21 points, though that's a great throw from Chase Herbstreit getting us to the 10. Why I was so invested with how this drive went wasn't because I thought we could still lose this game, no. It's for the Heisman odds. I want another touchdown. We're going to hurdle over this defender with ease. And headed into the 4th quarter, they got Mr. Brightside playing. Vibes are immaculate. Vibes are going to be really great if we could have outrun this defender to the outside. But either way, things are going to be okay. When we're more patient, we're hitting the hole better. And I don't even want to be out there on the field anymore, but we got to stop almost immediately, so there's more time for us to still score. And when 84 is putting in the work like that, are we not going to take free touchdowns? This is the greatest blocks we have ever gotten a run behind. I mean, he doesn't even know how to stop us. He moved out of the way. He was so scared of us just ramming through him. And I think the challenge that we are going to face this year is definitely not going to be winning the Heisman Trophy. No, the challenge is going to be winning that championship. It's only week 5, and I already believe that we have the Heisman Trophy wrapped up. Nobody's going to catch us. We got 1,000 rushing yards, 15 touchdowns. The next closest running backs have 400 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns. We've been able to double their stats already, and that gap is only going to continue to grow. This is where things are supposed to get a little bit tougher for us, though. We're taking on our first Big Ten opponent, but that opponent is Purdue, and they're not particularly known for being great at football. If they're going to be stopping our run like that, though, they are a team that we still have to worry about, and we're currently 2 rushes in for -4 yards. I'm hoping we can turn this third down into a first, but the combo move did not work in our favor. Luckily, their offense has been held to a 3-and-out twice in this game already. We're going to try and be more patient with this play. Just run behind our blockers. But you can already see they're not pancaking guys the same way that they were against our couple first opponents. And that's okay. I wasn't expecting them to keep it up. I mean, we are facing off against a better team. I just want to get some huge gains. I'm also going to let Chase Herbstreit mix in a throw here. I figured the play action would catch him off guard. And that's just going to make it easier for us to get down the field as we take this handoff and go nowhere. What about this close toss run, though? It worked out in the last game. It was the alternative to the tosses that were working for us before. And I think it's one that we're going to continue to mix in. Currently, we have 37 rushing yards on the ground. I'm liking these gains through the air. But this one is going to be coming back, apparently, due to some holding. Actually, it was an illegal block in the back, so that's not as bad. It's going to be 1st and 7, getting us 15. And I have faith that this play action stretch play could go for a massive gain. We just need not too many people to bite down. What is this throw? What are we doing, Chase? I don't even know where they're at to make a tackle. But it's like he just panicked and threw it up into a group of 4 guys and hoped that we caught it. It would sure be something for Kirk Herbstreit to be calling this game and explaining what his son was thinking there. Off of the wheel route, we didn't really get open, but someone else clearly did. And I have a feeling that this next run is going to pan out really well for us just based off of where the blockers are lining up, but we can't get past that second level. Not every run needs to go for a touchdown. Most runs shouldn't go for touchdowns. We just got really used to it in our first couple weeks with the Wolverines. But you know what? We will still take about 10 yards per carry. This halfback toss, getting to the outside, again, about 15 yards on the ground. And it just feels like we have full control of this game versus the Boilermakers, though our outside block did not hold. 2nd and 9, we're just going to take it straight into 2 guys. And we might just get held to a field goal. It wouldn't be the end of the world. We're going to call for it. We're going to hope that someone picks up number 6. And when nobody does, we're going up 10-0. With Purdue getting the football back, they did absolutely nothing with the ball. I figured if we're going to run a route and they're going to send a corner blitz, we have got to call for the ball immediately since that was our assignment. We can't get around 31. But there is still hope to finishing this half off with some more points on the board for Michigan. Until now. I can't say Chase Herbstreit is the best quarterback in the world, but he might be the best quarterback that we've played for in our career, which is saying something. We've not gotten to work with some of the best in the country, that's for sure, but if he's still the best of that group, it gives us our best chance at winning it all. And I'm happy that we got that field goal to end the first half. As we start this third quarter, we needed to get around 26. We still don't feel that elusive. After this game, I'm going to look into our running style and some other things to see if there's anything else we can do. But I think it just comes down to the weight that we're carrying, and we don't have that ball. 3rd and 12, Purdue sending a little bit of a blitz here. We did not pick up our block well, but they've done absolutely nothing with it every time they get it back. So I think we're going to end up being okay. I'm not sure if we'll be okay the entire season. I'm really worried for some of our games against other teams like USC, who beat us 24-0 when we were at Oregon, and then obviously Ohio State. But in real life, at least, in recent years, Michigan has owned the Buckeyes. At least at the time of filming this. I'm not sure that Michigan's going to be able to pull it off this season. We're going to run out to the flat. We're going to make one miss. It's going to be 3rd and inches. And this is where that Heisman Trophy comes in. We only have 1 touchdown so far in this game. We have got to start getting some more. This is also the biggest load that we've taken all season. We're already at 22 carries. We're probably going to finish with over 30. We just have a lot of recovery that we're going to have to do. After we got into the end zone, Purdue doesn't want this game to end, so they were able to score, but they're going to have to stop our offense if they want to get it back too. And since I can turn on chew clock, they are in a really rough spot. Every first down is just going to continue to eat away at their chances, and if we can get off to the races, then this is going to help out our stats even more. Finishing that drive with a touchdown there was the best thing that could have happened to us. But I made a little bit of a mistake, I will admit. So I was just sitting here maxing out academics. I wanted to see if we could get to flying colors, but I forgot to recover our health, so we're going into this next game with damage already. It's against Wisconsin, who hasn't been good until this season. They're currently undefeated at 4-0, and I think think this might really affect how we perform against the Badgers. Our speed already less than we wanted, but at least we shouldn't make that mistake again later on in the season. On 3rd and 3, we're trusting our blockers to help us get a few, and it seems like we have the numbers over on that right side for a stretch play to go for a good bit, which it did. They're coming out like they're ready to stop the pass against us. That was at least until this play where they've decided to stack the box a lot better, and so we're just gonna pull an outside run here where it would have been helpful if I could have broken through that first hole first. On 3rd and 9, I'm there to pick up the block. Herbstreit still goes down. It's like he can't handle any pressure at all. And I really think we're not going to be able to throw the ball much, especially against bigger opponents that we face. I just haven't seen anything from him consistently that makes me feel good about him doing this. But that could be a start. We might bust this run to the outside. Or at least I thought we might. We want to hit that gap and then cut it. Though we are now averaging just 3 yards per carry, we're blocking on 3rd down. We need Herbstreit to make a better read than just sending up a 50-50 ball. Wait, it was caught? Hang on. Whatever I was saying there, just act like I was. I am not entirely sure how that could even remotely be brought in. What a catch. I mean, this is just remarkable. He got 2 feet down, too. Ball hit the ground, but he had it secured first. Clearly, I don't need to be running the football. Our offense should just be all around him catching jump balls. It's wild that without that play, we would actually be losing to Wisconsin. The stiff arm kept us on our feet, but not for that long. It is 3rd and 9. We're going to run to the flat really quick. And it's okay that we didn't get it because we had someone else open. I just don't like that we haven't been able to do anything rushing-wise, though. It felt like we were dominating against teams, especially on the blocking side, until this game, but a little cut-up is going to get us that huge run we wanted. We also have it back with time left in the first half, which means we're just going to let 4 verticals fly, see if we can get a big gain. Not the read that I was hoping for, but we're going to come underneath. And it turns out we didn't even need to be there. 20 seconds left now. It took a long time to get off this snap. But you know what? Wisconsin will not be expecting a run with 17 seconds left. This could go for like 20 yards or even more. All we're trying to do is get into field goal range. And I think we can pull that off, actually. We're going to run underneath, catch that ball as we're being hit. But the question is, can we get off this next run with time still left on the clock, or is this the final play of the half? I think it's the final play. I tried to cut it back. Unfortunate, we couldn't turn that into a field goal, but it would have been a super long kick anyway. And it popped up that the player of the game at halftime was someone on our defense. So that lets me know we're just not doing well enough. We might have 100 rushing yards, but it's taken us 17 carries to get there, and we're getting stuck. Part of the blame is on our offensive line. They've been letting Wisconsin get through a few times, but we needed that pitch. And this is just a boring Big Ten game. If Wisconsin is going to struggle this much to score, though, I mean, we're going to be just fine. This is the big play we were hoping for. They got a perfect angle. And all of a sudden, we're up to 143 rushing yards on the day. Our stats are looking a bit better. We're now averaging 7 yards per carry. It really just takes a few big runs, and your stats can take dramatic leaps forward. But we still want another touchdown. Only having 1 at this point, not good enough. And the Badgers are going to hold us to 3. We got the answer that we needed, though. Our defense forced a stop. They forced an interception 1 play later in the red zone. So surely this can be that second touchdown. We just aren't getting any blocks. There's not much I can do if I'm getting hit immediately. On 3rd down, it looks like it's going to be another jump ball that they're swatting. And the Badgers scored again. It's not a particularly close game still. I think we'll be able to close it out. There's only a few minutes left, but it's tighter than I would have liked. And we're moving the chains. If we just get 1 more big run, this stat line will be exactly where I want it. But what can you do about that? 3rd and 13. We've been motioned out to the flat. I don't think that we're open, so we're not going to call for it. And Wisconsin got their stop. Now, they eventually got stopped, so we can take a knee. But these Big Ten games are starting to get a little bit more challenging. And it's so weird that 152 yards feels like a bad day, but it's because of the yards per carry. We only had 5.4. Currently, if we look at the Big Ten standings, Oregon is struggling. They're 3-2. Northwestern is ranked inside the top 25, and there are 4 teams inside the top 10. We happen to play 2 of them this season. We also have 5 straight road games at one point. I didn't realize that we had basically only been at home so far. We have not gone on the road. And before we potentially run into more problems, I just wanted to switch up a couple of our styles to see if that affected how we run. I also have the ability to upgrade sidestep, which is now going to be at a gold level. We could also spend another 6 skill points to get 360 to silver. And the next time that we are upgrading an ability, probably later in the season, we're going to be getting something to platinum. It's taken us our entire career to progress, but that was always expected. We started in high school as a 1-star. We have worked our way up to the big stages. And considering that we won the Heisman Trophy as a sophomore, the grind wasn't that bad. pitch me the football. Washington was trying to give up a touchdown there, but Chase Herbstreit was not trying to score one. We are going to be able to pick up 10 on the ground. And we still feel about the same way that we felt in the past, except on this play, we were zooming out of that. If we had that 99 speed, I think there was potential to take that one all the way. But then we just lost 6 yards trying to outrun all the defenders on the field. On second down, we're getting stuffed. So we are in a similar situation to some of the spots we were in last week. And it looks like we are not going to pick up the first. The Huskies were very good last season, though, so I expected this game to be closer. I don't like that I have now seen 3 of our offensive linemen have injury timeouts within the span of just a couple of minutes, but on this next carry, we're going to bounce off of the tackle. And I feel like we're getting closer to breaking off some really big runs. Not if we don't pick up this 3rd and 7, though. We're going to have to just give up a sack. I was calling for it quick. I knew that they were going to send extra off that side. But Chase Herbstreit is blind. That's just the situation we're working with at quarterback right now. And we're not getting anything. I know I've said it before when playing, but I just feel like you get sucked into animation sometimes. Like we are getting fully sucked there when I want to take it to a different spot. I feel like I'm not getting that full control over myself. On 3rd down, though, do we have enough? We do. It might feel like it's been a slow start in this game, but we still have 50 rushing yards on 10 carries at the end of the first quarter. Typically, 5 yards per carry would be really solid. It's just not the standard that I have set for myself. We got out of that tackle, though. But what I'm saying is I got sucked into him in the first place. Like, I was trying to avoid him completely, but we couldn't. Every so often, though, you can just hit a flow state where you immediately take off on the play. And that touchdown is coming. It might have taken until the second quarter, but it's got to be coming in this situation. From here, we have to trust our defense to keep on holding them tight. And there are teams that we're going to play this year, especially if I was on the schedule, that we might just hold them to 0. I'm sorry, Iowa fans. It's a habit. You all have gotten better. And honestly, the joke would go to Wisconsin, but they were able to put up points on us last week. 50-50 ball here. It isn't caught, but that's about all you can do on a 3rd and 16. We're going to be getting the football back with 2 minutes left in the first half on our own 5-yard line and trying to break off a 95-yard rushing touchdown there. Not the best decision in the world. If we just run through the gap, our odds increase a lot more. We can't get around him. I thought we were about to have him beat, but we spun just a second too late. We're going to take this counter run on the next play for like another 10 or 15. And if Washington can't stop the run, we're going to keep pounding it. On 2nd and 7, we got our favorite toss play. Outside block did not hold, making it 3rd and 13. If we're supposed to be blocking, we're not going to run a route, but instead we went out for it, and it wasn't even close to being on target. We hit the field goal, though, and we've gotten the ball back immediately at the 10-yard line. So what is our defense doing? Look at us taking 3-4 dudes at once on that play. Are we about to get in? We are. Clean blocks. Great first half. Washington down by 17. And this is the drive where we look to end things. Now, I have an idea. We're going to actually block a lot of people because I just want him to send up a 50-50 ball here. It's going to be caught for 20. So the plan went as I was anticipating. It was just a fast throw. I really don't know what the Huskies are going to do, though, that's going to help them take us down. They might be able to get defensive stops. They might be able to prevent some huge running plays, but it's not like they can score. They literally made it down to the 20-yard line just to get stopped again. We're going to take the counter to the other side, and we're just going to enjoy heading into the fourth quarter. I do think one thing EA did a better job with in this game than the last one was capturing traditions like that, making it feel more real. So I will give them some credit there. We got about 4 minutes left now. We're trying to chew clock, just running it out. And although all these extra carries are going to take a hit to my health, it's also going to help out our stats even more. When the speed option is run correctly, it can be such a great play for us. Just most of the time, it feels like it is not run correctly. And after ending the game, just reaching across the goal line there, we're going to get our 3rd touchdown over 200 yards. Just statistically, really good performances, even if they're not up to the standard of what our first ones were for the Wolverines. As for Northwestern, they were having a really good season, but they dropped out of the top 25, picking up their 2nd loss last week. And this is the stretch where we have 5 road games in a row. It could get ugly. I don't think the Wildcats are going to be our first loss, but I guess you never know. First play of the game, 1 man to beat, and we're just going to spin around. But if I knew someone was trailing that closely behind, we would have gone for a different move in that situation. It won't matter. 2nd carry also getting a lot. 60 yards, 2 plays into the game. We have struggled to get things going early against some of these teams, but not the Wildcats. In fact, look at where our next drive is starting. We have it inside the red zone already. I mean, we could get a touchdown on this play. And they're so panicked already that they're calling a timeout. I wanted to stay in hurry up mode and just end it there. But unfortunately, we have to call more plays. And look at that, they're burning another timeout. This is actually good though. We hurried it up when we were going to go with the same run play. Instead, we're just going to go with the halfback toss since they want to bring everybody inside. And it just feels like as we head into the second quarter, this game is already over for them. I mean, look at the average yards per play comparison. It is not even close. And we're going to be able to take this next run for about 20. If we could just get a touchdown out of this drive, that would basically do it. The halfback toss is just not working. It was fun when it was, but we got to stop going back to it. Quick read is going to get us the first, at least until we decided to spin into a tackle there. Doesn't make any sense to me, but we should be able to pick up a yard on the ground. You know what? I like the aggressiveness out of coach. He's letting me run it on 4th and 2. But that was not what I thought was going to happen there. That gave Northwestern a little bit of life because they'd followed up by marching down the field. And that means we need to respond with a good drive of our own, but we're not getting much. I actually think that it's best if we just chew that clock and take this one to halftime, unless we can pick up this 3rd and 7. It looks like we're going to have another big gain out of it. And this is the perfect look that we are hoping for. We know that they're not going to be able to stop this run. We wait on the blocks to get 15. It's just not a smart decision out of the Wildcats. And with plenty of time, that won't be completed. I was actually going to be happy that Chase Herbstreit pulled off a play like that. We're going to call for it immediately. Just pick up what we wanted on the ground and then call a timeout to settle for a field goal. I still think we're going to be okay against the Wildcats, but there were definitely some home field advantages or something that hit us, because before every play, our offensive line just continues to downgrade themselves. And I think it's how the Wildcats were fighting back in. With an inside zone, though, we're just going to be able to hit it for 10. And we're just going to keep running up the middle. It's been a while since we've pulled out play action, so I figured Chase Herbstreit, he's going to do decent. But that was a throw into triple coverage. Looked like they were about to get off of the edge. I don't know where he was going. You can see everyone is just frustrated. Our weaknesses have been highlighted. This isn't even a tough road game compared to what we're going to have to face on our schedule. I just don't know if winning a national championship is going to happen here. Now that it's a 3-point game, a game that I thought was over in the first quarter clearly wasn't, and we have really needed these past couple runs, which have put us in a better position to score on this drive. It was about time that we started to shred the Wildcats. They're going to be out there to make that tackle. And do we trust Chase Herbstreit to make the throw here? I really don't, but I also don't think running it's going to get us more than a few yards, as long as he doesn't take a sack. That is exactly what happened, though. We're just going to run our route where he actually throws this. We can't make the catch. And Northwestern could take the lead. They got held on the 2-yard line, though. They went for it on 4th down. They wanted that lead, and they weren't able to get it. So we are very fortunate. Only, of course, if we can avoid taking a safety here. I feel like as long as we just get to the 6 or 7, we'll be good. But if we can't pick up this 3rd and 5, we also might be giving the ball straight back to them. And are you kidding me? He just pushed him straight into our lane. I genuinely have no words. The fact that they were only able to get a field goal is a miracle, but this is such a bad read. Just like it was considered bad shot selection whenever Damian Lillard hit that 40-yard pass in the playoffs a few years ago. Was it a bad shot? Potentially. But if you make it anyway, if you're able to make that catch, you can't consider it a bad throw because it worked out for us. Oh, no. Oh, no, Chase. That was not the read there. This is it. Northwestern is in a great position to either tie it up or win. And the fact that they didn't, the fact that we are taking a knee, is just a testimony to our defense carrying this roster into an undefeated season. I really just don't think my 227 yards on the ground were enough, but here's what we can do. We can get ourselves platinum shifty. I've been waiting on it. And I think that could really help for some of our final matchups that are going to be against teams like USC and Ohio State. Nebraska might be on the schedule as well. We are headed to the Coliseum. Last time we played USC, we didn't get to get out on the field, but they won 24-0. I just want to throw that out there. Now they're undefeated this year, and it's probably going to be the best team I've ever had to face in my college career. We have a hope, though, of getting some big runs, not going to be on toss plays or options. They just shut down something that has worked against a lot of schools. Inside zone will still get us 8. We might just have to go back to it with an extra blocker on 3rd and 5 so we can move the chains. Running it to the outside, not a great decision. But guess what? USC didn't score anyway. They've given us the football back in about the same spot on the field that we were already in anyway. And we're only going to need to run the football for 50 more yards. Then we can start this game with a touchdown. Looks like we're going to have someone that could have immediately made a tackle on us. But I guess our elusiveness scared him off. I'm really hoping that we can pop this run to the outside. Looks like there's a lot of space over there. And USC is not messing around. They are bringing guys down into the box. So we probably do need to throw it at some point. As long as it's not a turnover, I can see Chase going down. That was his blind side. Maybe I was supposed to pick up that block after the play action. We're just going to shoot out of there, though, and pick up the first. So with one more carry, we're already at double-digit ones. And that's just a sign of what we're going to have to do to win. I guess we need to be a better distraction because it seems like we're about to get held to a field goal, except that was a dot. And finally, we can give some credit to Chase Herbstreit for a good throw. We seriously needed that. I wasn't able to get us into the end zone myself. And Heisman Shifty is just not getting us out of positions like that the way that I was hoping it might. We're going to call for it off of the check down. But we're being double teamed. We're legitimately being double teamed. We're that much of a threat. On third down, you know that we got to take those type of chances. We only catch them about 25% of the time, but when we do, it's a highlight. As long as our defense continues to get stops, I don't mind those 50-50 balls every so often. But our stats in this one, they're not looking good. It feels like we are about to be stopped again. 3rd and 4. Halfback toss to the outside. I mean, they're all over it. And just look at the box that we're facing. I thought the USC offense might open up at some point. They still have not. But when they do, we're in a lot of trouble because we are not moving the football very well. On 2nd and 11, are you kidding me, dude? There's just too much incompetence on this team for us to actually be a serious contender. We have been held once again. And I just want to point out there's 1 second left. USC would get another field goal. So we're going to go into halftime with a lead, but we currently have 18 carries in the first half for 54 total yards. That's 3 yards per carry. This game has just been a disaster. I'm hoping we can get our passing threat going since I've not been able to effectively run it. And I was worried that this is what would happen anytime we faced off against big schools in the future. I know this is a tough place to play, but I still thought we would find a way to get more rushing yards than we currently have. We've barely done anything on the ground. If we continue to play this badly, at some point they're just going to stop respecting the run. You can see what happens when we finally get good blocks. That last play went for a solid amount. This is going to be an option that we're just going to have Chase pull. And I'm afraid that if we don't catch something out of the backfield, the Trojans are about to stop us on 3rd down 2, but they can't, which is good. It's also looking like we're going to stay out onto the field. No wear and tear damage. But what's it going to take for us to bust off a big run? This feels so passive, but I almost just want to make sure that we get like 5 on the ground and we can settle for a field goal being in this position and then trust our defense to keep on getting stops. I'm telling you, that was the right move. We were able to stop the Trojans. There's 4.5 minutes left. And finally, I thought we were getting out. It was still a nice run, but that was seeming like it was going to go to the house. This play going for 8. And we still have not been able to cross 100 rushing yards in this game, but we should be able to. We just need about 10 more on the ground, and this might be that big play that we have been hoping for and needing that's going to make our stat line at least look decent. But without those last couple runs, I'm telling you, it was a disaster. And with a couple minutes left, we got the ball back almost immediately. They're really trying to make this game look better than it was. We have to keep on taking it because they still haven't used a timeout. But this is good, especially if we could somehow get a touchdown in this final minute and a half. You really wouldn't be able to tell that we struggled for basically the entire matchup. And maybe it's because they're starting to get tired. On 2nd and goal, ready to stop the run. We're trying to get around them to the outside. That juke will get us in. And I can't believe that we were actually able to save our stat line. It was a true disaster before that first touchdown run. I think we had 0 rushing touchdowns, 60, 70 yards. But honestly, we could probably afford to have multiple games like that and still win the Heisman Trophy. We have 2,000 rushing yards exactly. But we still have 4 games left in this season, so we can't get too excited like a playoff spot is even a lock yet. Coming off of a tough conference road game, we've gotten ourselves another one. And Nebraska's offense is not struggling the same way that the Trojans were. They scored a touchdown on their first drive, so we might get into a shootout if we're going to compete. And it could be time for us to start running a few more routes and seeing if that helps us move the chains. Not a good start though. We just dropped the first down. And thankfully the Cornhuskers weren't able to score again after that. I'm telling you though, I'm not making it up. You just get dragged into players for absolutely no reason. We're very lucky that this might turn into a first. The reach forward effort was off the charts, and I feel like with 2 safeties sitting back there, we should be chilling to just pick up this first down on the ground, which we do. I can't say that's the best first quarter, though. It is already over, and we'll be expecting to play much better in the second. It is hard to get a run going, though. Whenever they make a tackle like that, the pitch was a little bit delayed. It might not have even been needed. On 3rd and 2, we got the blocks right there, so we're going to be able to pick it up and stay up. We need another 55 yards on this drive, though, if we're going to score a touchdown out of it. And I can't believe that 99 was even coming close to making a tackle there. It feels like we are finally starting to break off a couple bigger runs, which is what we have been waiting on. I don't know why he just hesitated. If 84 would have just continued to run and block down the field, that should have been a touchdown. and they might have picked that. It's going to make it 2nd and 10. We're actually really lucky it wasn't a turnover. But there it is, just a loss of yards, which needed to be avoidable. And I thought they had that pick too. At least we were able to hit the field goal. Now we have a minute and a half left to score our first touchdown of the game. I'm there to try and help block some guys. And ultimately, I think I'm just going to be running this straight into a couple players here, unless we could have gotten to the outside. Not an ideal situation on 3rd and 4, especially since we're dealing with wear and tear damage. I'm not sure how long we'll be out there. But let's see. Are we going to get the right read out of Chase Herbstreit? No. On 2nd and 14, we're actually going to be running a route, which works out. We can get 12. And then stay in hurry up mode, audible over to a run, and pick up as much on the ground as we can get. That's our first touchdown. That might have been the method right there, though. Get a pass play off, then hurry it up. They won't be in a formation where they're prepared to stop the run. And it really did pay off for us. This next one, 6. That is not bad at all. We're supposed to be running a route, but again, we're just stuck. So it took a while to get free. No effort out of 86. It would have been nice to get a block there or something, but I guess he was just more worried about sitting there, not wasting any energy on his part. And I wonder if we're going to get taken off of the field on this drive. I just see our wear and tear continue to go down. Honestly, that was a bad run. There's all this hope of cutting it to the outside, but if you cut it to the outside too soon, you got the other corner coming down off of some missed blocks that he is always going to be able to bring you down. 76 is a huge dude, by the way. But he wasn't able to catch us, and we're actually starting to run away with this one. I wasn't sure if we'd be able to. Heisman Shifty, though, just glides through. And that was a perfect example of what I'm anticipating every time I try and bust a run to the outside. You get some massive gains out of it. It's a great throw from Chase Herbstreit. Our offense is simply in a flow state, and the blocks are looking incredible down the field. Don't ruin the run. Come on. I thought we'd be able to finish it off there, but instead it's going to have to come a play or two later. And Michaels is so open. I wish that we just threw it here because they're going to stuff us. The plan to counter that, though, on 3rd and goal is to come out in a halfback toss and just immediately run to the outside because we're faster than everybody. And I just realized Nebraska only scored on their first drive and on their last one. We held them scoreless between all of their other drives. They honestly have not been that hard for us to take down. That's another huge run, Heisman moment. But I guess the Cornhuskers are not done. They scored another touchdown. They want us to have a chance to get more. And they're trying to get the football back. They're still trailing by 10, so we should be good either way. But making it 3rd and 20, they are 100% going to get another opportunity to score. They weren't able to, though, so we win this one 31-21. That was a great road win. And with almost 250 rushing yards, it's been a while since we've seen that number. In fact, it's the most rushing yards that we have had in our last 6 games that we've been a part of. Obviously, our first few were just incredible. But it's the most that we've had in a Big Ten game where it's looking like we are lined up to make the conference championship. We just got to finish this season strong. We could even afford to lose one of our final 3 games and still get into the conference championship. But I don't think Michigan fans would appreciate us losing to any team that's left on the schedule. Now, Michigan State is not a program that's been very good recently, so I'm expecting us to be able to just break off massive runs like this. There is no chance that that guy catches us. And it feels good to be facing a team like this again. The crowd is trying to be a factor. But what if I told you I was about to throw the ball on 3rd and 10? That's how much we're going to disrespect them here. Rolling out. I guess I could just try and pick up the first myself. And that's something that we're going to experiment with more in the season. That's a cool play. At least through the first quarter, our defense has given up nothing. And we'll see if we can get anything through the air here. I had to pick up a block. I didn't call for it. That looked like an absolute disaster. And listen, I'm a Colts fan. I watched the full Carson Wentz season. It wasn't a great time. That was bad. I guess none of that matters, though. If we're just going to get the ball down on the 5-yard line, our defense setting us up. It's great for the Heisman Trophy campaign. And Michigan State just feels out of it. I know the last time I said that was against Northwestern, and they happened to pull off a comeback, but I just don't see the Spartans doing the same. Though I think they're about to get us off of the field on 3rd down. They throw it straight to him. Great. No, this is actually setting up for Michigan State to come back exactly how they wanted to. I mean, they just got great field positioning. Though the fact that they were only able to get a field goal out of it is extremely telling. Why are we keeping it? Chase Herbstreit has like 72 speed. There is absolutely no reason, whether it's the right read or not, for him to have the ball there. And on 3rd and 7, we're just going to run over the middle where our teammate got in the way. Guess what, though? The Spartans had a turnover with 23 seconds left in the first half. So they have put us in incredible field positioning, and we might just get a touchdown. On 2nd and 13, I'm going to run straight up the middle. They could have caught that. And it might have been a little greedy to call for it there. I was looking the stat pad. Maybe we just call for it in the corner. which gets us in. And that's got to be the best route that we've run my entire career. I'm actually curious if we could turn into a little bit of a receiver. So we're just going to call for it deep down the field and see if we can burn them off of the line. It's in the air for too long. But we had the steps. So if we ever need to resort to helping out the passing game, we can. I think that's important to keep in mind for some of our potential playoff matchups. Looks like they are going to get us off of the field there. And we're about to just get a huge run going on our next drive. I still think our juke moves are so ugly. I wish we had some better ones. But it is what it is. This next handoff to the outside should be able to go all the way. I don't think any of these kids are touching us. From there, we would just run out most of the time. But here at the end, we are really close to getting in. So I'd actually like to finish off this drive. We just can't on this play. We know exactly what it's going to take, though. We have been in this position many times. So the Paul Bunyan Trophy is going to be ours. We get to celebrate at Michigan State Stadium. And I think we're pretty close to breaking Barry Sanders' season rushing yards record because we just set the national career rushing yards record, but we got to be at like 2,400. If we can get another few hundred, which we'll 100% do by the end of the year, that record is ours. And our final road game of the year is going to be at Maryland, which isn't too bad. We know what game is coming on the other side of this one, though, against Ohio State. And we can't be caught looking ahead or else we might get shocked by the Terrapins. They just caused us to lose 5 yards. It is already 3rd and 13, and we started this drive in a really good position. We're not going to pick it up. You know, it's really helpful, though, whenever you get to start your next drive inside the red zone because their offense had a turnover. But you got to be joking me, man. How did he make that tackle? I thought we were about to walk into the end zone untouched. We might be able to on this play, or we're going to lose 5 again. And that's going to force us to throw the ball where I'm not open. They're going to have to take a check down and lose more. That makes it 3rd and goal. I have a block and release assignment, so I needed to pick up that guy off of the edge. We've given you plenty of time. Go ahead and run on in. I thought Chase Herbstreit was going to do it, but we're going to be forced to settle for 3. Not the greatest ending to that drive in the world, but we can carve apart this D. We got some big runs coming. I'm sure that we do. We just haven't been able to break any of them off yet. We're going to cut to the outside here. I thought that block was going to hold up for longer, and that's going to make it 3rd and 16. I highly doubt they're going to fall for the play action in this situation, but we had enough time for a tight end to get open. And every so often, Chase Herbstreit is able to impress me, but here he does not. He fumbles it as well. At least it looks like on this down, we're going to have a huge lane to run through. And I'm not sure if coach is going to let it be 4-down territory, but I feel like it should be, especially if we can get a few here. This is exactly what we wanted, though. If we fail to pick this up, Maryland's going to be in a really good spot. At least we can get to the outside, stay on our feet, and keep up the pressure on the Terrapins where I guess we're just losing a couple. We might take things to the 2-minute timeout. I'm calling for the ball. And this is just another drive that's going to stall out without me being able to get a rushing touchdown. Though, let's hope that he's able to bring in this catch, turn around for it, and I guess drop it. Maryland holds us again. I really have to give so much credit to our defense for this season. Not catching that ball there is just inexcusable. Seems like they are going to avoid giving up a field goal. And they definitely are. That just wasn't a good pass. I feel like we did nothing right in that first half, but we still find ourselves with a lead. The cut to the outside, they're all over. And it might have worked a couple of times for us, but it's not working past this point. We're just going to have to actually hit our hole correctly. And that's when we get a huge play like this. Oh my gosh. We have been waiting for this moment the entire game. And that might be the most satisfying run we have had in the last few weeks, but unfortunately, Maryland would immediately respond. Their offense is starting to come alive the second that we do as well. And on 3rd and 13, I think I'm just stuck blocking here. I'm going to try and help underneath, but he stepped out of bounds. That's just going to force us to punt again. You know what, though? It is just a miracle that the Terrapins have been able to do almost nothing with it every time we give it back to them. And I thought our offense was looking a lot better against both Nebraska and Michigan State, but it is slowed down again. We need to get back to that state where it feels like we can do almost no wrong. I bet we can swerve around this defender. That is why you have Heisman, Shifty. They got us. But not before we made it to the 25-yard line. And with another stretch play, a cut to the outside, there's just going to be one man to get around. And it's so easy. Absolutely zero reason for juke moves or anything like that. Maybe we run a halfback angle. The 2-point conversion just didn't work for us, though. And that's okay, because I think we're about to get a touchdown run on our next drive as well, getting us to about 250 yards. If we could break off one more, this performance would go down as the best one we've had since the start of the season. And we still got a couple opportunities to bust one off as we got to run out the time. That really leaves us with about 3 runs. The first one, nothing. The second one, also seeming like it's going nowhere. But we've run so many inside zones, they brought a lot of guys down. I don't know why they shifted it the last second to guard the outside like they knew that was coming. But coach is going to keep the team out there for 4th and 2. So we're going to get off that one final play, swerving around the defense to the 15. We might not be getting a touchdown, but we are going to finish off this game with our 30th carry on the day. We got to make both these kids miss. And that's just the downside of not upgrading our spin move ability as much as some of our others. We have done it though. We have broken Barry Sanders' record for the most rushing yards in a season. We're coming for the rushing touchdowns one too. We just need to pick up one more in this next game because we're currently tied at 37. That last game is going to be against Ohio State as well. If they beat us, they're going to have a spot in the college football playoff. And currently, we're not the only undefeated team in the country. Both Clemson and LSU are as well. Out of interest too, I just had to check in. Oregon's number 21. They are 7-3. West Virginia is currently 5-5. And I was apparently checking all that before I advanced the week. It turns out we are now the number 2 team in the country. Ohio State is the higher overall. It has been a while, but we are finally headed back to our home stadium, and that was snow on the ground. Is there snow in the tunnel as well? I can't tell. I think there are some tunnels where it's actually glitched. I couldn't see for that one though. This just looks incredible. And I've been those guys over on the right and left side when you just run out of the tunnel. I'm sitting there trying to film for vlogs. It's a surreal experience to be that close. I got to go to a lot of cool places this year, and I really want to experience that again next season. It has been an absolute blast meeting y'all, but look at this first carry. I couldn't even tell where the sideline was at. I didn't want to step out of bounds or get super close to it. This next one, getting stuff. But we've already gotten one big play to go our way. We're going to flip this stretch to run it to this side. I felt like it gave us a better chance at pulling off a bigger run. And I'm so glad that we're actually getting some snow games in this Road to Glory because they're rare in Dynasty. Here on 2nd and 11, there was a massive gap up the middle that we're just going to take. And this is exactly what we want. We got fans holding up a sign with our name on it. Here's the problem though. Ohio State marched down the field and they scored, and I don't think it's going to be the first time they do it. So we need to have the best offensive game that we've had all season. And it seems like we should be able to get another 5. For this next carry, blocks were looking very solid, but then they all broke apart. Someone got through, and we're going to take this speed option for about 20 to 25, maybe even 30. They did not have an answer for it, and we got a great pitch out of Chase. Now this next inside run, 4 is not bad, but it's not great either. It seemed like we had the numbers on this side of the field, and there was no one even close. Ohio State is not making our lives easy, though. They've scored once again, so we have it to end the first half. We might just break off another massive touchdown run. I don't know who this is trying to chase us down, but we're going to swerve into him. Not the most athletic thing we've ever done in our career. We probably should have just done a spin move or something. But at the very least, we have set ourselves up to be getting a field goal and taking a lead on Ohio State at half. We've even chewed down the clock just in case this 3rd and 11 doesn't go as planned. I'll call for it in the flat, but it's going to be an interception. And I should have probably expected it was going to be an inaccurate throw out of Chase Herbstreit. But it is just frustrating to see, once again, our defense not getting a stop. So they've not stopped the Buckeyes once. It feels like they are about to take us down. They got a hand on that ball. And I don't love the run call on 3rd and 7, but I trust it more than throwing it after that last play. We got it. The Buckeyes are also ranked number 7 going into this game. So even if we do win, we might still see them in the playoffs in the future anyway. I'm not sure they're going to drop that far. It's 3rd and 13. It's crazy that this has been one of our best offensive games of the season. We got 212 yards, and we're still about to lose to Ohio State. We just have to punt it back to them in the snow. I had no faith in our defense to get a stop against them, and sure enough, they didn't. We are going to be open underneath, but it just doesn't pan out. On 3rd and 13, we really need to convert here, and I'm not sure we're going to reach the marker. We got to go for this. 4th and 2, game on the line, running it straight up the middle and getting stopped. With them tacking on a field goal, there's absolutely nothing we can do. And it never feels good to just be hopeless, but what are we doing? Dropping that is inexcusable. I don't even want to call for it on this play. Maybe I should have though, because that read sure was not there either. Yet it's the one that we somehow bring in. This is just disgusting though, losing to Ohio State. I'm sure there are Michigan fans that would rather win this game and not win a national championship than the other way around. So I couldn't do well by them there, as we're not even in. If we run into the Buckeyes during the playoffs, though, this is the team that would prevent us from winning at all. I mean, just from what we've seen in this matchup, we had home field advantage on our side. We had the snow, and we can't even finish off this drive to get the game back within 2 possessions. I don't know how we'd beat them. On 4th and goal, we're just going to run out to the flat and they got a hand on it. So what a disappointing day. We started off so well, but the third and fourth quarter did not go our way. And being upset about the loss is going to take away any excitement about breaking the other Barry Sanders record. It's not a good feeling to come up short there, but we're going to get a chance to beat Penn State and potentially get a first round bye. I feel like even though we're number 7, if we win this game, the committee would respect that. And I just want to point out, we somehow have a 2.0 GPA. I thought I put enough into academics. We almost failed out of getting to play the rest of this year. I clearly have not learned any lessons from any of my road to glories in the past at this point. Seems like there's going to be 4 teams from the Big Ten getting into the playoff. And I'd really like to get that first round bye, but I don't know how we're going to stack up against Penn State. It feels like we just got exposed in that last game. Here we are in Lucas Oil. And since I'm a Colts fan, this is pretty cool to get the field level view of it, even if it's not during a Colts game. What I'll say about that stadium, though, is there are some stadiums in this country that don't really have bad seats. You can 100% get bad seats there, where it just feels like you can't see too much, where you're way too far away, where everyone on that field is a speck. I have been in that position, not once, but twice. Just if you're planning on ever attending a game there, keep that in mind. Indiana fans attending a Big Ten championship. I don't think you've been to one recently, but I should probably start worrying about our own team, because after getting stopped there, they scored a touchdown. It just feels like all the positive vibes, all the momentum that we had went out the window with that loss to Ohio State, though the blocks on this play have set us up for success. 15 is not going to catch us either. But how much does it matter? Our defense is falling apart. We gave up another touchdown very quickly, and it's not good. It is genuinely looking like a national championship's just going to be off the table, especially if we're not scoring every single time. And I can't expect Chase Herbstreit to even help us pick up this third down whenever we need as much as we do, but somehow they didn't make the tackle. We have lucked out, though they're bringing another guy down into the box right before this snap. We still get 7. But I'm not sure how we're going to win the game in the long run if no one picks him up. It is now 3rd and 2, and we're literally running back to the same side, except I love the numbers until there's holding. And it's about to be 3rd and long. It's all coming back. It's all coming back. We just aren't used to trailing this season. We've been in front of most of our games. That is going to be right on target. And I was expecting an overthrow. I was expecting an interception, so it caught me off guard. Are we going to be able to end this first half with a touchdown, though? That's what we're looking for. And I think we're either going to get it on this play or we're about to lose 5 yards. No in between. We lost 5 yards. I'm sure that didn't help our odds with hitting a field goal either, but the fact that we missed the kick and then they're able to score another touchdown before the end of the first half, it just isn't looking good for us. We're going to have to turn into a receiver. Are you kidding? That pass wasn't even close to getting to the right spot. We'll run a curl. But the issue with doing that is there's only 12 seconds left in the first half, and we're going to need some bigger gains to get into field goal range. I mean, we know what our target is, so we're just going to call for it over on the sideline. They could have picked it. And I feel like we have better odds of scoring off of a halfback toss than throwing up a Hail Mary to end this first half. We're going to be patient. We're going to wait for our blockers. And now we're going to need some more. This is really setting up to be a collapse to end the year. Maybe some of you could have seen this coming just based off of the fact that our offense had a lot of moments of struggle. But I never imagined our defense would collapse the way that it has against some bigger opponents. And that's really been the difference maker. We already have 150 rushing yards on the ground. We're averaging almost 10 yards per carry. But it just feels like we are out of this game. Huge 3rd and 2 coming up. We cannot afford to not get this. And thankfully, our hopes stay alive. That sack does not help our case, though. We're going to try and get some of it back with this run, somehow getting like 10 out of it. And here we go, 3rd and 6. We're open underneath. It's thrown behind us, but we can work with it. We actually have more first downs than Penn State in this game, which is just telling that we've done a pretty good job of moving it on offense. We just failed to finish that one drive, and they scored in the perfect time to end the first half while our defense still not getting a stop. We really do need to score kind of quick, and it seems like we might be busting it up the middle for a touchdown, but are we going to get a stop before we get this ball back? That was the real question, and it turns out that we have. So if we just run the ball effectively this whole drive, we can tie things up at 21. Though I will admit, as we continue to lose more and more wear and tear, it's going to be hard to do. I don't know if we'll even be out there to finish the game. To score 14 points, we've had to take 24 carries already, and on 3rd down, we just needed an open receiver to make a play. That was actually way better than if it was me making a catch, because I'm not going to take any wear and tear damage. I can also get open in the flat. And they're just inviting us to run this one straight up the middle on them, which is going to get us 7. If we stay in hurry up mode, they're not going to be able to adjust enough to where they're stopping the run on the ground here. And I've seen the computer try and call a timeout in this situation. They're not calling a timeout. This is perfect. The blocks are there. They did score a field goal, though, which puts us in a position. We march down the field in 4 minutes. We score a touchdown. the Big Ten championship would be ours. And you best believe we are going to milk that clock to make sure they have zero chance to respond if we don't happen to get that touchdown. We also might score really quick. I mean, that run is setting us up to guarantee at least overtime. We probably need like another 10 on the ground, but I think we're going to be okay as long as we can stay out there on the field. That is my biggest concern. Is coach going to sub us out? I really hope that he doesn't. On 3rd and 1, they have stacked the line and they're going to come down, stop the run. And this is awful. We're going to be forced to take 3. Maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought, though. We hit the kick and then we got to stop. So we have the football back with a minute left in this game. And we should probably stop running the football. I bet we can complete an easy pass here. Making it 3rd and 1, we get into field goal range. We avoid overtime. And they're going to stop us short, aren't they? They did. I can't believe it, though. Coach is letting us go for it on 4th and inches with 35 seconds left. I respect the aggressiveness, but even I would have probably punted there. And let's see, can we not make a terrible read, please? In my opinion, we have to return to 5 wide. Our high school roots, this is the formation we would go for if we ever needed a big play. And I think I just got to upgrade my catching at this point. The fact that we weren't able to catch that is such a big deal. Coming underneath, we have enough. No, it's a fumble. It's a fumble. I can't challenge it or anything either because it's road to glory. I mean, at least we made it to overtime. I thought that they might just kick a field goal, so we are lucky in that regard. But I'm not sure how much I got left in the tank. We're already down like -10 speed. There could be a point in this game where we just get pulled at any second. And fortunately, on Penn State's second drive, they were only able to get a field goal. So even though they responded to our first touchdown, we win with the touchdown. And we just got one step closer to having it. We're going to be at the 8-yard line. No, the 5. This is the problem, though. We've been taken out. And there's nothing I can do here besides just simming. I hope it's only for a couple plays. What just happened? Don't tell me we lost the Big Ten championship. We got the win. We did everything that we could to put our team in the best position. But I'll tell you this, it's not a great sign for what we have to do if we're going to win a national championship. It is nice that the Heisman Trophy, along with all the other awards that we could possibly win, are going to be coming home. We just dominated throughout this year. And I do want to point out, we focused on leadership to get it to a higher level, but if you look at our season and career health, that season bar is very small. It's a very good thing we have a first round bye in the playoff, because I don't think we could make it 4 games. And I do want to compare the stats from the season so far to what we did at West Virginia. Almost 800 more rushing yards and another 9 touchdowns. Now on the receiving side of things, we haven't had to catch as many passes. I forgot how many passes we really caught for the Mountaineers. That was how we moved the rock when we were with them, and we got number 6 LSU, who at one point was undefeated. For them to fall to the 6th seed though in just the matter of weeks, they've lost a couple of games. And before we hop into this one, we should probably spend our 16 skill points. Now we could either become a much better receiver and route runner, which could be very useful, or we could just go ahead and purchase stuff like Recoup. Part of me wants to upgrade sidestep and 360 as well, but I think this is going to be our best chance at just staying on the field for as long as possible to have gold Recoup. And if the Tigers are scoring 41 points per game, our defense better come to play, or else it won't matter how often we're out there. And it's really scary to me that this could just be the end of our season right here, but if we play well, we'll stay alive. At least I hope. The Tigers have already scored on their first possession. We needed that pitch. It's a fumble too. Don't tell me they have it. Even though they don't, they cost us to lose 5 yards, and we just lost another 5. We're going to get stopped on our first possession here. 3rd and 17. I mean, there's just not much hope that I can get us to the marker, but our defense held it down, so not all hope is gone yet. We might still be able to get that national championship by getting through the Tigers first. We should have been all the way. It would have actually been really nice because we know that wear and tear damage is going to stack up. We know that as this game goes on, breaking off big runs won't be as easy. We might just need to focus on managing the clock really well in order to preserve how often we're out there. At least that's the best strategy I can think of. I would love to audible to a pass here and just let us throw it in. I don't even care for my own stats at this point, but we're just going to take a sack. You think you're doing the right thing for your team, but it turns out you're not. We are going to have to run a Texas route, distract the defense. As long as we're scoring, I don't care who gets in. Now, LSU was only able to get a field goal, which is exactly what we needed. Our defense is starting to show up. They're just going to give up points a little bit more often since we're playing better teams. The question, though, is are we going to show up offensively the way we need to? See, it's now 3rd and 8 for us, and I don't know if we're going to be able to convert here. I'm just going to call for it immediately and get well past the marker. But let's say Chase Herbstreit missed that throw, because he's missed quite a few throws like that he should probably make. We would not have been in a good position headed into halftime, and there's still a minute left on the clock. We got to keep the clock in mind a little bit, but at the same time, since we have 3 timeouts left, I think we have plenty of time to score. I am hoping that coming out in a spread formation here, we can just space out the defense so we are able to run straight through the middle. And that might be the strategy that we have been missing out on. We ended the first half with a touchdown. Now we're going to start the second half with 7. But I think we can get bigger gains than that. You see how much room there is for us to just run straight up the middle. We're going to motion a blocker over. Unfortunately, it didn't work. The guy that he brought over just made the tackle on us instead, but there was potential there, and through the RPO, we should have had a touchdown. At least it feels like we are in the driver's seat of this game. For this next stretch play, the blockers are all there, man. Don't get in our way. It looks like our best receiver was about to cut us off for a second, but he didn't, and even if we're getting this back on the 3-yard line, that just tells me that we were able to get a massive 4th down hold on the Tigers. Assuming we can just hang on to this lead, we are going to be headed to the semifinals, though we might have a touchdown. I can't believe it, though. He literally just ruined our touchdown play. I guess we're going to be able to take more time off of the clock. Maybe not that much more time, depending on if we can break both of those tackles. The ref doesn't even know what he has just seen. We're going to start celebrating at the 20-yard line, and I don't see anybody around. How long can we keep this up for? I don't know if anyone's ever going to come, but we're not getting in. And that might have been a little bit of a mistake if they could have had a goal line hold. Well, I'll tell you something about LSU. They sure scored fast, but we're still in the driver's seat. Really focusing on just chewing some clock with this possession. And even if we don't pick up this 3rd and 12, it's not going to be the end of the world. Obviously, I'd love if we could, and that's what you get a good receiver for. We currently have 14 first downs to the only 7 that LSU has, and the big runs are just adding to this domination. With the Tigers turning it over again, there's just not much they can do from this position. I'm not sure they're even going to call timeouts to get it back. And if we just pick up this 3rd and 1, we're going to be able to take our knees, get in our win. I was really worried headed into this one, but then we started to break off big runs, 344 total rushing yards. And that caused my worries to go out the window. It's the 3rd most yards we were able to rush for in a game. We still did better against both FAU and an FCS opponent. But that was a much more impressive performance. No question we're winning National Offensive Player of the Week. I haven't even focused on awards because of how dominant we have been on that side of things. Georgia is going to be tough. I feel like their defensive line might be really hard to run through, and Ohio State seems like they're getting to the national championship. I have a feeling that if we can beat the Bulldogs, that's probably who we're going to meet there. They don't score as many points per game as LSU did, but their team is a better overall. Just something to keep in mind. For our first carry, we're just going to lose about 6. And I don't know why I thought that was a great idea to just run backwards there, but we have the seam. That's a great throw. Chase Herbstreit is stepping things up. For our next run, we're going to be able to bust off like 8. And I think we might as well just stay out in no huddle mode. If we can get some huge gains like this, it's not even going to be relevant after turning it on. Now, Georgia would be able to score right after, but they only got a field goal. And why is our wear and tear already so low? We're going to be pulled out immediately. And what I'm afraid of is somehow on that touchdown run, we got an injury that's going to keep us out from this game for a while. This is all out of my control. If this is how we lose in Road to Glory, I'd lose my mind. I have played my entire career up to this point, EA. You just need to have a system in place that doesn't let me get taken out in some of these big moments, because this could be the last game that we ever step onto the field. And just the fact we could have even been taken out there for the entire time lets me know we need to watch this clock and continue to just shred the Bulldogs. Maybe we're better off being healthy. While everyone else is exhausted, we've only taken a few carries. And that is exactly what you want to see. We might blow out the Bulldogs. 2nd and 5. This is going to be about a 2-yard run. Not even that. I was way too optimistic. We're going to flip the stretch to the short side, though. I just saw the blockers being in perfect alignment, and the cuts are too perfect, man. Georgia stands no chance. 28-3 is not a lead to worry about, unless of course you're from the state of Georgia. We keep getting the ball back in the most obscure spots as well. We could end up taking a safety here, but we didn't. And on a 3rd and 2, there's just no way that it's this easy to run on Georgia. Why did we struggle so much against Ohio State, who we are most likely still going to have to play? If we get Arizona State in the national championship instead, I mean, that is just a blessing. But I have a feeling we're not going to be that lucky. And on 3rd and goal, we're just going to call for it quick. but they should have picked it. At the end of the game, they actually scored, so it's 31-10. And just like everybody expected, the national championship is going to come down to us or the Buckeyes. There's just not much we could do about it. Penn State played them pretty close, though. They were able to beat Memphis by 25, Arizona State by 12. And with our 5 skill points before the game, I am going to spend it on upgrading our route running a little bit and our catching, just because I feel like that might need to be part of our game. If things aren't going well on the ground, we start moving it through the air a little bit more. We've gotten that final leadership bonus as well. Our team is going to be as composed as possible, and I just have to hope that we don't get blown out. We need to keep this at least entertaining, because the last time we played the Buckeyes, it was an embarrassment. I'm hoping it's not the same way this time. We are here at Hard Rock Stadium. I feel like they always put the national championship at Hard Rock. I know it's going to be there this year as well. We get to run out in the rain. There can't be snow in Florida. And something our defense couldn't do the entire time that we played them in the conference championship was get a stop. Well, I'm pleased to say that they were able to stop the Buckeyes on their first drive. But we're in an interesting position. It's already 3rd and 5. I'm actually going to go out for a pass instead of do anything else, because I feel like we can call for it in the flat. We just got a little bit more control. And again, we have to be focused on our clock management. If we're not taking a lot of time off the clock, then we're going to be at very low fitness by any time this game ends. We're trying to avoid that. We're going to follow our blockers and just bust through the seam. There's only one guy that might be able to catch us, and no one is. No one is. That's what we get for coming out in heavy sets and just being patient with our running before we really hit that next gear. We needed to sooner, at least on that play, because he was able to track us down. 2nd and 6, final play of the first quarter. It's going to be an easy first, but there's a lot of game that is still left to be played in this one. This handoff going for about 20, 30. They got us. But now it feels like the perfect time to mix in a pass, and we audibled to that pass where they immediately knew that we were throwing the football. I also must not have been an eligible receiver. Either way, drive stays alive. It is very important that we finish off with points against them. And I don't think we're going to be able to take the rest of the first half with us. I was calling for that too. It's unfortunate, but we might still be able to get a big play out of this 3rd and 9. We'll at least take a field goal down the middle. That was why we ran with that exact play. And sure enough, we hit the kick while also getting the ball back with enough time to score more points before the end of this first half. Now, we are so open, but it actually made sense why. Apparently, we were supposed to be blocking there. No wonder no one was on us, because there wasn't a single assignment. They're a little bit more prepared for this play, and I can't tell where we're at. Evidently, we got enough for the first down, though. We're going to mix in one run before just heading back to throwing the football. Or maybe we'll mix in one more run. They're probably not expecting it. 40 seconds left on this game clock. As for our next play, it's going to be a great catch. We got our tight end laying out for it, and another run coming out of nowhere for a first down. There's about 20 seconds left. We got to get this next snap off pretty quick. I figured play action has an opportunity to get guys really open, but we made a catch and we had to use a second timeout while not getting any closer to field goal range. So we're just going to run, set up for another kick, and we're going to have to be content with that. Here's where greed might get the best of us, though. There's 8 seconds left on the clock. Why not take one shot to the end zone and see if we could end this first half with a touchdown? We're going to ask for that to be thrown up. And not only did we not even put our hands up for the ball, he made the catch while dragging his feet. I'm afraid dumb decisions like that might come back to bite us, because if we don't finish this drive off with a touchdown, we only get a field goal, let's say, they'll be able to take the lead on us, and it is all of our fault. Do not take a sack, at least scramble or something. It is now 3rd and 6, and we're open. We just had to make our way over to that ball. One thing I'll say we have just avoided as well is these quick tosses. But every so often, we might be able to bust off a big run out of them still. You just can't run them too consistently. Potentially losing like 5 yards there was a risk I was willing to take for that or a touchdown. It's put us in an incredible spot. I thought we were about to be gone. And there is still a minute and a half left on this clock, but we are just shredding Ohio State's defense. When they can't score, we're fine. They actually made it all the way down to the red zone before turning it over, so they're cooked. I just don't see how they're going to pull off a 17-point comeback with only 4 minutes left on the clock. It's a great spot to be in. I'm not sure it was expected, but it is not technically over yet. After they got that stop on us, they were able to score a touchdown once they got the football back, which means we need to carve apart their defense for one more first down, and then there will be absolutely no way that the Buckeyes will beat us. By the time that we do that, we would have rushed for 300 yards on Ohio State. It's just been a great performance. And this is it right here. They have stacked the line. We have our blockers out there, and we are just gonna rub it in by scoring another touchdown. This was just a completely different experience from the last time we played. And taking home the national championship, it is the perfect ending to my college career. Now, the question is, am I going to take this character over to Madden? Am I going to put myself in Madden? Am I going to play as a running back? I really don't know yet. That would be the next logical step of my career. It's just, am I going to have a good time on Madden? I can't sit there and tell you that I will. So I might end up filming it for a bit. If it ends up being fun, actually put out an episode. But if I'm not having a good time, then my career will end here. 4,200 rushing yards in a season, 54 touchdowns. It has been a very hard grind to get to this point, and we have an extremely full trophy room for just one player, but we accomplished a lot. Again, I'm not sure where we're going to end up being drafted because I don't know if we're ever going to play in Madden, but maybe I'll see you boys in another episode. If you want to see me continue the career over on that game, just let me know in the comments. Leave a like on this video. That'll also help me kind of get a gauge of interest there, and check out some of my other content that's going to be on the screen if you're still on the video.